You will struggle to get your first tech job, but where there are problems, there are solutions. Let's get into it. There are 3 things that I got right that will help you stand out and increase your chances of getting your first job in tech. 3 things are 3 struggles which you will have to overcome. And the first one is not being focused enough to get a solid outcome. It's the worst way to start off, and I can guarantee that you're hopping between tutorials, projects, and probably even coding languages with no clear goal of where you want to be. And the cause of this is not having a clearly defined goal. Now, you probably don't even realize how big the implications of this are. Not only does it impact your learning, but your resume is not defined, your interview prep is all over the place. It is counterproductive to getting your first job in the industry. So take a second, take a day, take a week, and think about where you want to be in 2 years' time. Now, it doesn't mean this is what you're going to have to do forever. It just means you can stick to a path, a clearly defined goal, and start achieving small accomplishments and milestones. The reason why you need to do this is that you can start breaking down your path to a job. Work backwards, break that goal down into achievable chunks. Okay, so how do you use a clear goal and define a path to get your first job in the industry? So this is how I did it. So you make a plan right now and say, okay, in 2 years' time, I want to be a front-end developer or a back-end developer. We'll go with front-end for the example. So you work backwards from what a front-end developer needs. Now, we know right now to be competitive in the market as a front-end developer, you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a framework like probably React. So find a course or tutor who you enjoy learning from. Start with HTML, CSS, move on to JavaScript, then move on to React. I'll pop some links in the comments for people and courses that I've used. Feel free to use them. Of course, you're welcome to find your own as well. The benefit of this is that you now know where you want to be. You want to be a front-end developer, so there's no point you doing a Python tutorial. Stop it. Stop jumping to Java tutorials or Python tutorials. Stick with the goal. Write it down. You know where you need to be. Having this clearly defined path and goal will keep you on track. That's why it's such a vitally important step. Having this goal set will keep you on the path and keep your motivation high. You will not deviate because you know where you need to be. Okay, so that's the first struggle fixed. Amazing. There's only 2 left, so let's get into the next one. You keep applying for jobs, but your resume keeps getting rejected. How do we deal with that? How do you build a resume with a higher invite to interview ratio? You 100% want to avoid becoming one of those people on LinkedIn who says, I've sent out 250 resumes and got 0 responses. If you sent out 30 resumes and you got no responses, you need to stop. Why are you still sending out up to 200? There's obviously something wrong with it. When I was applying to my first and second job in tech, I would write 20 resumes and I would send them out. And if I got no responses, I would change them. And I do that for every 20 resumes until I was getting an average 60 to 80% invite to interview ratio. Now, what are the basics to crafting a decent resume that stands out? Number 1, have a clean layout. A recruiter will only look at your resume for around 8 to 10 seconds. If you have color, fancy designs, funny columns, you know, it looks cool, but it really distracts away from the information that they need to see in that 8 to 10 seconds. Keep it really plain and simple. Number 2, your key skills should be visible straight away. I shouldn't have to scroll down. So in front-end engineering, we have this concept of ATF, above the fold, and that's what can immediately be seen on the website before somebody has to scroll. It's the same with your resume. As soon as I see your resume, I should be able to see that your key skills which are relevant to the job you're applying for, i.e., front-end development. If you're applying for a front-end developer position, they should be JavaScript to React, etc., etc. Number 3, stop the jargon. If you've had quite a few jobs, you don't need to list them all, especially if you're going for your first job in tech. If they're not relevant, just summarize them in 1 paragraph and have the most recent 2 as actual work experience. If they're obviously tech jobs, then have them all. Number 4, make sure all your links are working and they're at the top. I can't stress this enough. If you have a link to a project or a GitHub and it's broken, the recruiter will not fish that out for you. There's a very high chance they'll just move on to the next person who's putting the proof in the pudding. If you'd like to learn more about crafting an amazing resume, then like and subscribe, check out the rest of my videos, and I've got more coming on it as well. Okay, fantastic. So we've overcome 2 struggles. You've got a clearly defined goal, you're on a straight learning path, you have a great resume, but how do you now prove to the recruiters or to the companies that you can do what you say you can do? This is one of the most vitally important areas, and it still astounds me that people don't have a good portfolio. You need it. Your resume is a claim that you can do all these amazing things, but your portfolio is where you show them that you have actually done it and you can actually do it. You don't need to start complicated. A lot of people think, well, I need to build a big, huge website. You don't. Build a very simple website that's just about you, sort of like an online resume. You can have an about you, a contact form if you want to be really fancy and cool, a section about what you want, what you hope to achieve, and then links to all the projects that you've built over time. Again, it doesn't need to be super fancy to start, but as you progress, as you build more skills, you can keep coming back to it and improving it. And whenever you build a new project, you attach it to or you link to it from your main website. A sort of online resume type website should be the first thing that you build. Now, to get your first job in tech, they are the 3 core foundations you need to get right. If you don't, you will struggle because there are people who are concentrating on those things. They have a clear path, clear goal, and they're not getting distracted by other tutorials or languages. They have a great resume, which is getting a great response rate because they keep changing it and improving it, and they have a brilliant portfolio. You can do this too. I believe in you. So like and subscribe for a lot more content like this. Thank you.